Bases dropped on a Freestyle Friday. Things are a little different this morning because of things that have gone on. We're leading off with Bart because we had things happen involving the national team last night. So here's the rundown for the show. Bart's going to be here for the first half hour. Traditionally, we have our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring coming on at 9:30, but there is a championship game in USL League One this weekend. We have brokered a deal with our friends at Union Omaha, and if technology works, Lagos Kunga joining us at 9:30 to break down what life has been like for him in USL League One as Union Omaha is chasing after championship. Jessica Charman joining us at 10 o'clock to break down everything. Let's see. NWSL, USL Super League, colleges, MLS because of a team that she is active with, no longer being in the playoffs, and then 10:30 we'll go through news of the day and all this kind of stuff. Now, the reason, and Alex is saying that you need to get on Blue Sky, by the way. Apparently you are. You see you're on Blue Sky as he's showing off. All right. See, Soccer for USPOD right there on Blue Sky. The reason that I'm leading off with Bart, other than the USMNT, and I told Bart just to kind of come in and crash, because something happened yesterday in CONCACAF, the Nations League outside of the United States. And Bart, I wanted to bring you in to discuss this. I don't know if you follow Glenn Crooks at all, either on the 280 character app or on the Blue Butterfly.
Is that what we're calling it? The Blue Butterfly app?
I'm just guessing. Hey, it looked like a butterfly and it was blue. So that was first thing.
It is.
So Glenn Crooks on the Blue Butterfly yesterday. He's down in the Caribbean with Stern John, and he's in St. Lucia, and he's helping them out, Marco Masucci and Stern John, for the St. Lucia men's national team as they get ready for Nations League matches. So Glenn's down there. He's thinking everything's going to be nice and normal, and I'm helping Stern John out and hanging out and all this kind of stuff. Yesterday, apparently at practice, Curacao allegedly had two guys with Curacao logos on their apparel, and they were caught recording St. Lucia's training session, and Glenn was there, and he's got video of them getting found out. So Curacao hosting St. Lucia in the Nations League after losing in the last window, and Glenn has video of these two dudes who apparently, allegedly, possibly, it appears, had a drone-like device, which you can kind of see in the background as it's being spirited away from the training ground that they were on. Two dudes apparently hanging out, shooting video for Curacao against St. Lucia. And now apparently CONCACAF is investigating what happened. And Glenn Crooks apparently just lucked into being in the right video place at the right time. John Herdman in Canada had a 6-point penalty at the Olympics for similar activity. So the video is there. And if you listen closely to the video that was posted by Glenn Crooks, someone is saying, take it down. Literally, someone is saying, take it down. So, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, apparently. And the Nations League does not disappoint outside of the United States. We'll get into them in a sec. But, hey, Curacao and St. Lucia. Who
knew? Yeah. So let me get this right.
Sure.
Curacao and St. Lucia played already once.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They did not play tomorrow.
Correct.
Or today, I should say.
I think so, yeah.
They don't. Because Curacao is playing some French colony. St. Martin.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. No. They play on Monday. That's what it is. Oh, then that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Hey, look. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Exactly.
But if you are going to cheat, maybe don't wear officially branded apparel from the other team. I think you've learned that drones are not the greatest way to cheat.
Because you kind of get busted knowing that there's a drone there.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's Group B, or League B, I should say.
Let's find out.
League B.
So
it's 2 points ahead of Curacao in the standings.
Yeah, 2 points ahead, 4 matches done, 2 matches to go in the window. The first team obviously moves out, and then you end up with green shading, and then I think that goes in the play-in section. And right now, Curacao is ranked 3rd in the second place teams that could advance out of Group B if you get into League A playoffs and things like that. So there's St. Lucia and Curacao separated by 2 points at the top of Group B. There's some things in play here.
Yeah.
So Dick,
they've got to win on Monday. Curacao has to, and Curacao, by the way, is probably feeling some type of way because they should have been on the up and up compared to where they've been the past decade, and now they're not. So the fact that St. Lucia in League B, Group B, has the edge on them is probably disconcerting.
So Dick got decided probably. Well, let's put it this way: it appears individuals for Curacao were doing some advanced scouting in a way that they weren't supposed to, and Glenn Crooks was there.
What a great find for a journalist like that.
I'm down here just hanging out and helping out a buddy, and then I'm standing literally on the sideline during practice, and dudes on the other side of the fence, you literally turn, and Glenn takes his phone and literally turns, and there are dudes standing at the top of the stands there, wherever they're practicing.
Oh boy, John, I tell you.
and get allegedly busted for helping out another country.
Yeah. Well, so they did take a page out of the John Herdman School of Soccer Preparation. So good for them.
Man. Yeah, so that's opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com as Bart is sipping his coffee. There's your QR code for those of you who are hanging out with us and watching however you are doing so, either on the 280-character app, on the YouTubes, or on the Twitch. Don't forget, use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10% reinvested into youth games, youth initiatives, stuff that they think is cool. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Okay, last night, in front of a crowd announced at 25,000, U.S. done took care of business, scoring in the 5th minute, Ricardo Pepi, winning 1-0 and hanging on. And Jamaica will be without Mason Holgate for the return fixture in St. Louis because he went double yellow. And you wonder what Mason Holgate was thinking, picking up that second yellow after he'd had the first one. But 1-0, U.S. comes out on top, and everybody flies to St. Louis.
Apparently, they've touched down safely in St. Louis, according to Twitter, because USMNT is not on the Butterfly app yet.
Okay.
But yeah, look, winning on the road, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You can talk about how they actually played. You can talk about things that may or may not should have been called. They got to win. And in this particular format, it's not just about winning. It's the fact that you scored. They didn't score. So you take the 1-goal aggregate lead back home. You take the 1 away goal back home with you, and you're sitting pretty going into a game in St. Louis where, you have had success before and you feel confident at home in these CONCACAF Nations League matches.
When you look at this particular performance, and there were moments of angst, let me go ahead and drop a little reffing down here. Matt Turner and Shamar Nicholson, what say you? Now that the match is over, what say you about the Matt Turner moment early on with Shamar Nicholson?
Well, it was a foul. It was a penalty kick. As I said, it was a lot of guys who, quote, should have done better, right? Yeah. It was one of those, like, Taylor Twellman, he's got to be better there. About 3 of those in a row that end up with a penalty kick. But Matt Turner saves himself and saves the team with a very good penalty kick save. That was not the easiest of penalties to save. That was a decent effort. And, that is the type of heroics that you need from a guy who is Still the number one, but I think confidence is waning in Matt Turner, or has waned over the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But that was that's what you have Matt Turner in goal for. If you that is one thing he does very well. I think it was Paul Carr tweeted out that he saved 3 of the 8 penalties that he's had against him for the national team. That is wrong. It's actually 8 because one of them hit the crossbar, and that counts as a save in goalkeeper world. You can ask Jessica Charman when she comes on. That is technically a save, despite what they say.
Okay.
So, that's what he does. He's almost at half. At half the time he's saving a penalty, and at the international level, that's pretty darn good.
It's damn ridiculous. I mean, when you have that, then you had a couple of and
I don't saving penalties, by the way, John. Saving penalties in live play much harder than saving penalties at a penalty kick shootout because you don't have you don't get your water bottle.
No,
like literally, you don't have that. And in a PK shootout, you have way much more time to kind of read a player and you can miss one and then you got 4 more. So the fact that he saved 3 out of the 8 in live play is a pretty darn good feat.
No doubt. And so Matt Turner, and we go through the ratings as we always traditionally do to sit there and pick them apart. Matt Turner gets a 6 by the end of the night. He did have a couple of key moments and big saves along the way.
Yeah.
Joe Scally, Anthony Robinson, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream. Scally got a 4 along with Jedi. Tim Ream got a 5. Mark McKenzie gets a 6 on the evening. What say you?
Yeah, I thought McKenzie had a better night than Ream. I think Ream was a curious decision for this particular match. I personally would have gone with Trusty or Robinson, someone who's a little bit more physically fast. Let's just put it that way. We're not going to sugarcoat it. They're just faster. They're fleeter of foot, John. No offense to Tim Ream. He's been great, but, he's got the Brad Guzan problem where, at some point it's just, it's harder. Your feet get heavier as you age. So I've learned.
What?
And,
what?
He just needs to, he got the job done, but I do think McKenzie was better. Although McKenzie had an interesting first half, but I thought the back line was okay enough. Joe Scally continues to be a guy who isn't a problem, but isn't a guy that inspires a whole lot of confidence, which is, unfortunate for someone who has been playing now, it feels like a decade in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously not that long, but he's been playing there for quite a long time, and you would expect him to be a little bit more solid defensively than he is. But look, you got to shut out. So good job, defense.
Yes. So then your midfield started out Musa, Tessman, McKinney, and Johnny. Johnny exits after the 21st minute with an injury, replaced by Malik Tillman. Weston McKinney, Soccer America gives him a 3. Yunus Musa, Tanner Tessman each got 6s.
Yeah, I think Tessman had a worse night than McKinney, but I also think McKinney wasn't as good as we would want him to be. Johnny and Tessman were decent together. I think Johnny leaving, we didn't have as much control on the ball, which meant we had less control of the game in total. And that's a little bit on Tessman. That's not his game necessarily. He can do it, but that's something that he definitely needs to improve on. Whereas Johnny is much more of a get on the ball, tempo setter type dude. But I was really hoping to see something from Tessman and Johnny. And I think what I saw from Tessman is that I'd need to see more, and not in a bad way. Just I would like to see more of him to be able to make a better conclusion. Especially when you're looking right now where Musa is playing as a right midfielder, right winger, some sort of position that was further out wide.
Right.
Because we don't have the winger depth. Now we get Tim Weah back in St. Louis because he'll have served his 2-game suspension for punching someone in the back of the head.
Yes.
And so we probably won't have the Musa at right wing or whatever in that game. But this is a decent wrinkle to look at as okay, well, if he's playing there, who else can play in that midfield? And I think Tessman and Johnny put together a decent enough performance in the 20 minutes to say, okay, this is a solid solution without Musa, without even Gio, without Tyler Adams, which, especially the latter two, like who knows if they're ever going to be healthy again.
Right. Forwards up top, Pepe and Pulisic each got 7s. Ricardo Pepe, by the way, with his goal, becomes the 4th player to score a dozen national team goals before his 22nd birthday, joining Pulisic, Josie Altidore, and Don Ovan. Landon Donovan as those 4 there. Your subs, Malik Tillman got a 5. Busio gets a 5. Brandon Vasquez, U.S. Open Cup hero Brandon Vasquez gets a 4. Alex Zendejas and Austin Trusty, because of the minutes that they were in, got incompletes, basically.
I think it's fair to say Vasquez probably should have had a goal. He had some opportunities as Jamaica was pushing late to put a goal behind Andre Blake. But yeah, I thought Tillman did okay. The problem with Tillman was what he was brought in. I think if I were to criticize Pochettino, I would have brought Tillman in, moved Musa inside, put Tillman out wide. So your midfield 3 after the Johnny injury would have been Tessman, Musa, McKinney, which is a little bit better of a win the ball, go forward type of midfield. Tillman is not the best ball winner, especially in the midfield. He's a little bit more of a, okay, you win the ball and then give it to me type of guy. But he got a good enough positioning there. And then I think they put McKinney back there with Tessman more and let Tillman play up top in that midfield formation. So I think he did okay. But that was an interesting thing that I saw Pochettino do that I personally would have changed a little bit.
Lineup for Jamaica on the day: Andre Blake in net, Limbakisa, Holgate, Lowe, Bell, Lee, Damari Gray, Ledabodier, Palmer, Bailey, and Nicholson, with obvious substitutions. And then Jamaica going down to 10. 10. You had 2 cards for Mason Holgate in a 10-minute period, one in the 76, one in the 86. And the second one, you're kind of sitting there going, I get what you were doing, but at the same time, there's 4 minutes left and you're still trying to get an equalizer. And so Mason Holgate really hamstrings his club in the 86th minute.
I do not think he needed to. I'm trying to go back through the timeline so I can look at it for sure. But yeah, I don't think he needed to.
Because I think it was a grab on the way by.
Yeah, so the first foul was just I'm trying to think. The first foul was just a regular old, that's a yellow card foul. The second one, for sure, where he gets the red card, I don't think he needed to make that particular foul. He had a defender to cover. Obviously, if you're looking at it from Jamaica's standpoint, you probably say, hey, we don't want to give up another goal, so I'll take the red card and risk it. But I think that was a little foolish and short-sighted of him. But he was beat. That's the thing, is he got beat, and he probably shouldn't have let that happen.
Yep. 10 shots total, both sides. Half of those on target, 3 for the U.S., 2 for Jamaica. 2 saves on each side, 3 corners for Jamaica compared to 1 for the U.S. 25 fouls called on the day by the Costa Rican officiating crew. Juan Gabriel Calderon, the man in the middle.
Who I thought was decent last night. There was some chatter on Twitter about him not being good enough. Maybe should have given some yellow cards for persistent infringement. Look, that is a CONCACAF match. I don't think the match got really out of hand from the referee's point of view. I think the players got out of hand, and I think he at least tried to calm things down. I mean, I'm trying to think. The one that Jedi got the yellow card for, he gave a yellow card to both teams after that kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Yes, he could have been a little bit more proactive, but I thought he actually did a pretty decent job last night.
Yeah. 59% of the possession went to the United States as well. Before we let you go to start your weekend and have you back on Monday for reffing down here and getting ready for match day number 2, the return fixture at the Pink Park in St. Louis,
which has a sponsor now, by the way. Apparently,
yeah, it is the Energizer Bunny, and so they don't have to switch the pink texture.
Yeah.
And so now, instead of it being City Park, it's now Energizer Park, and so they just keep the pink motif. Yeah. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Canada soccer situation, and now that they have come out with their official findings, and you have Priestman, Mander, and Lombardi basically done for, and now it seems like the issue may be closing upon a particular individual who we somewhat referenced at the beginning of this segment.
Well, I think the obvious solution is to disband Canada soccer. U.S. soccer absorbs all of it, and now we have Kadisha Buchanan and Ashley Lawrence to play for the U.S. women's national team.
Jonathan David, Alfonso Davies,
Sheridan. And then we get Davies and David, and I think that's just the fairest solution out of all of this. No, but in all seriousness, I do wonder, especially because he's coaching for Toronto.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be tricky for Canada soccer because, it's not like you can say, well, he fled to New Zealand again.
Yeah.
He's still in the country, and the fact that he has to this point avoided being truly involved in the investigation is a little bit, to me, problematic from the investigation
Yeah.
standpoint.
There's the people's eyebrow gets raised when you sit
Yeah,
there and say, "Yeah, I'll help you out, and I'll sit there and whatever you guys need." And then all of a sudden, scheduling
yeah.
issues in quotation marks are the problem where John Herdman cannot.
Well,
Uh,
schedule. He ain't been doing a job for the last month. Like, got eliminated.
Yeah, well, and it's like you couldn't take like an early day or something, or have somebody run a practice
Right.
for you, or there's an off day in there
Yeah.
somewhere that's a lighter
Or
day.
you go after your office hours,
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
I think,
video deposition. I mean, there are ways.
again, I don't think Bev Priestman came up with this all on her own, because it seems like she felt like this was an inherited piece of the program,
Mhm.
um, that was started from John Herdman.
Mm.
And, again, it calls into question not just the women's team's success from before Priestman, um, then with Priestman at the 2020/2021 Olympics,
Right.
but also calls into question the success that Canada Soccer on the men's side had during the 2022 qualification cycle, where they won, because that matters.
Yes.
And, again, reiterates that, John, when they got to the World Cup, they were the second worst team,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
up until also haven't really done anything since then, despite them chirping a whole lot. They haven't won Gold Cup. They haven't even made a final of the Gold Cup. John, the Canada Soccer has not been in a final of the Gold Cup
Yeah.
since they won it in 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not great at math, but by next summer, it'll be 25 years since they've even been in a final. Now, they did make a Nations League final, but even then, it's been USA Mexico in all the finals except for one, two of the three. So again, that's kind of where I do question them, right? Is you had all the success during qualifying, but when it came down to actually doing it in a real tournament against your opponents in the region, you haven't really found that success like you claim to have in qualifying, and that is where I do wonder how much of the drone pilots came into play.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of what you're staring at. What you've done with the information on hand, I guess, is probably how do you disseminate what was taken, and the level of success therein. All right. So 10 o'clock Monday, we'll go through what happened this weekend. We'll get reffing down here. Anything else that happened nationally as we get ready for the reverse fixture in St. Louis.
Yeah, which I'll say again, it should be a win. Should be a comfortable win. Pochettino got his first road win in CONCACAF, which is the same amount of road wins as Greg Berhalter has. If I could just, I'm not trying to diss the man, but I think that Pochettino, his mentality was you play to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the team played to win the game last night. And I think you saw how they got an early goal, and still maintained control of the match for the most part until, second half began and Jamaica was playing to, with a little bit more energy and a little bit more determination, which happens in CONCACAF. I don't know about you, John, but someone needs to go cut that grass. But
I was gonna mention that.
Not me. I hate yard work, but someone should go cut that grass.
That was a groundskeeper's delight, without question.
Dude, that like I joked about, that was like when dad was gone for the week on a business trip, and he'd be like, hey, by Friday I need you to cut the grass, and it's Friday morning, and I'm like, oh I haven't cut the grass yet, and so you got to rush out there and cut it. I think someone forgot to cut the grass before this game.
I don't know if they forgot to cut it. They just kind
Well,
of
look, I think the Jamaica team also was hampered by the grass.
Oh,
to
no
be
doubt.
quite honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will catch up with you at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. As always, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for the analysis. And nothing like quoting Herm Edwards to wrap up a segment. Yeah.
You play to win the game.
Exactly. All right. Be good. Enjoy your coffee. We'll see you Monday. And there goes Bart. All right. 9:30. This is a treat. And you've got a club that is hosting a championship game this weekend. and we get to find out about what life is like for a particular individual that those of us here in the SDH footprint here in the Atlanta area know. We got to see him grow, and now he's at Union Omaha. He is a murder owl by trade now. We're going to bring in Lagos Kunga to find out what's going on. Lagos, good morning, my friend. It's been too long.
Morning. How are you?
Well, questions for you, man. You're the one that's chasing after a championship right now. What's it like now to T-1?
We're just all excited. I'm super excited. It's been a good year, and finally being back in a team setting and playing a whole season has just been awesome. And just now is can't wait to just like finish it strong. So I'm excited.
So, for those that don't know the story and how all of this came together, how did you and Los Bujos connect? How did this happen where you end up being a part of things with Union Omaha?
It was last year. I didn't. I was playing in Libya, or the year before, and then some things happened behind the scenes, and there were some cases like with FIFA and stuff. I couldn't. I didn't have a club for about 6 months. I couldn't sign anywhere, and then I finally joined Des Moines, which is a USL 2 team, and had a really good season. And then after that season, there was a few teams that reached out, and I talked to a few of them. And Omaha was the most attractive, especially with their history and stuff. So that's how it came about. So I signed last year around October of last year. So.
And with your time there in Des Moines in USL League Two, it's safe to say that Lagos was a menace. And we mean that both literally and figuratively, what you did in USL League Two. What did you learn about yourself from the time overseas in that 6 months where you couldn't sign and then finally getting to play in Des Moines? What did you learn about yourself both on the field and off that you could carry with you as you continued your career?
What I learned is, when you don't have a club, it's very tough. It's very tough to just, because you don't know what's happening. You're just training alone, and you're just waiting for that time. So it was a very hard time. But what I learned is just like games, playing games and having that game experience is very, very important. So that's what that's the main thing for me now, is just playing games.
How have you improved when it comes to your game and your style with your time there in Iowa and now in Nebraska at Union Omaha? How have you matured as a player since folks might have had the last chance to see you?
Yeah, I think between USL 2 and USL 1, it's like the game is much faster. And that's why I think I got better at that, like is decision making and all that stuff. So I think that's the main thing, is the speed.
How long of an adjustment period was it for you to realize, okay, I've got to hit this into a different gear? I can be at one gear in Des Moines, but it's a different match and it's a different game entirely there with Union Omaha. How long did it take for you to adjust?
It was, I think in the first 2-3 sessions, it was very tough. It was different type of fitness. I know the first 2 sessions, I was already like, I couldn't keep up. And then the coach came up to me, and he was like after training, he was like, "Hey, let's talk." And then when I heard that, like, I was already like in my head, like, okay, like I don't meet the standard. Like, I was already, but he talked to me. He was like, "Hey, don't worry about anything. We know what you could do, just go out there and just, have fun, play your game. Like, this is why we brought you here." And then I think after that conversation, like, everything switched. And that's when I started playing, and then obviously the fitness came later and stuff. But I think I'm best when like I'm just playing and I'm relaxed and stuff. So I think that conversation was very important, and I've never really had a coach tell me that. So I think that's when everything changed.
What have you learned from Dominic Casciato, the head coach there at Union Omaha, this particular season about yourself, about Omaha, and about USL League One? What have you learned this season from him specifically?
He's tough in a way, you know. I think like how football is right now, like you have to adjust. And I think that was my biggest thing. And he's not like, okay, if you're good, you're gonna play. No, he will sit and he'll sit you down. And there was a couple of games where I had to sit down because I just, like I just wasn't, because I'm playing a different position as well. So I had to adjust, and then I had to do like the off the ball stuff, the fitness stuff, the running back and tracking back and stuff like that. So that's what I learned, and like that's what I'm gonna take wherever whatever comes next is you have to work hard. You have to run, not just when you have the ball, but you also have to do the ugly part. So.
What's this playoff run been like for you guys? It's USL League One traditionally is one of the tougher leagues out there. I mean, literally, if you have a good week, you can go from 8 to 2. If you have a bad week, you can drop from 1 to 5. What's it been like for you in this really tough league this year?
Yeah, for sure. It's been good. We had a lot of ups and downs, on and off the field. What happened with our teammate, Mishak, and stuff like that. So I think we just go out there and play for him and try to fight for him, and we trying to make him a champion. So we're excited for Sunday.
For those that don't know the story about Mishak Jerome and where you guys are playing for him and his family, critically injured in a home explosion 2 weeks ago. For those that don't know Mishak as a person, how would you describe who he is and how he is a part of that team there in Omaha?
Oh, we all love him, and that's my best friend on the team. Like if you see Mishak, you see me. Like in all the photos, it's me and Mishak everywhere. Like away trips, we're always together. So it really hit home. So because that's my best friend. So I'm excited to play for him.
And you, the guys, I mean, obviously the entire community has rallied around Mishak because there was a GoFundMe that was out there to try and help the family with expenses and things. For those that don't know Omaha as a soccer community, how would you describe what soccer means to Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, before coming here, I didn't really know much about the Midwest sports, and I think Omaha is it's a sports country or a sports state. Like um, we get I think we have one of the best fans. Like they always make sure we're good, giving us gift bags and stuff like that. So I mean, they show out every week to every game, so it feels good. They really are behind this team, and I can't wait how many of them are gonna be out there on Sunday. So very excited.
All right. So now that you've mentioned about Omaha, now that you've kind of gotten used to what life is like there in Omaha, what are some of your favorite hangouts? Where do you get to go? Do you get recognized in town this season? When you got to have Lagos time, where do you go and where do you kind of sit there and have your moments, and do you get recognized there in town because of Union Omaha?
Yeah, usually I go to like a coffee shop. I drink a lot of mate, so I'll bring my mate with me. I started to drink that last year, and I would just hang out at a coffee club, or coffee shop. There was before the Richmond game, I was walking to the coffee shop, and somebody was like, "Hey, like we're gonna be at the game tonight," and I turned around and they were talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, really?" Like he was like, "Yeah, like you play for Omaha, right?" I was like, "Yeah." So that was pretty cool. And so that's cool. So they people actually pay attention.
What makes a good mate?
The
See,
water.
Because I have to ask, because Jason Longshore. Jason loves him a good mate, and so I've got to ask you to get your. Oh yeah, Jason's a mate guy. He's and so I've got to ask you so I can prepare the evidence for him. So you said the water makes a good mate.
Yeah, so I get the Canary one and the water. So you gotta hold your bottle to make sure it's not too hot. Because if it's too hot, then it's not good. So it has to be. If you can hold the bottle for 10 seconds without burning yourself, then it's perfect.
Okay. See, this is the kind of hard hitting stuff that we have here on the morning show. These are these hard hitting questions when it comes to the sport here. You got a championship game coming up. I don't know if you know this, but you're playing for a title coming up this weekend. What has study hall been like getting ready for this game, and what kind of a game are you anticipating there?
I think it's gonna be a fight for sure. Spokane, they're the underdog. I mean, they finished 7th place in the league, and like they beat Colorado, who's very, very. It's very tough to beat them, especially at their home, as well as Madison, Madison's a tough place to play. I've been there a couple of times, and it's tough. So I mean, so it's not gonna be an easy game. I don't think. I think they're gonna fight, but we're up for it. We're up for it. I think everybody. I think after the semifinal game, like all the nervousness, like when like when we first started the game, like a couple of us were nervous, and they got a quick goal, and then we realized, okay, like we can get back. So I think we want a better start. For the game. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a fight for sure. But I think the boys are ready. I think the last few sessions everybody was locked in, So I think we're ready. I think we're ready.
For someone who hasn't seen Union Omaha play, and they will for the first time Sunday afternoon when they watch a championship game, how would you best describe what Coach Dom and everybody does out there? How would you best describe Los Bujos soccer when everything's going well? How would you describe what you're doing?
Yeah, so I think we are a possession-based team. I think we like to attack. We like to have the ball, but we like to have the ball with purpose. I think the coaches, they're very they pay attention to every single details, even at practice. So you can expect a very attacking minded team for sure. We try to get a lot of goals. For me, like personally, I like to entertain fans when I have the ball. Like I like to, take people one-on-one, dribble, go on runs. So I think you should expect that. So yeah.
Union Omaha hosting Spokane coming up Sunday afternoon, and it is going to be on the Golazo Network on CBS Sports, chasing after the title in USL League One. Before you go, I have to ask, when it comes to your time here in Atlanta, how would you say your time here helped you grow into the young man that you are today and the professional athlete that you are today? How did your time growing up here help you where you are now?
I think when I was in Atlanta, I was very young. I took a lot of things for granted. I feel like I wasn't as professional, the little things that I wish I should have done, that I didn't do. But like in terms of soccer, like the speed of play, like learning a lot from Tata really helped. I think tactically, I'm pretty sharp. So I think that helps a lot. So, but I enjoyed my time in Atlanta.
Well, as always, it's great to see you and great to see you succeed, my friend. Good luck this weekend chasing after a championship there at Warner Park, 2:00 Sunday afternoon, Golazo Network. It is Union Omaha, Los Bujos, the Murder Owls. Spokane. Lagos, be safe, my friend. Be well. Have a great game. We'll see you on the flip side, okay? Don't be a stranger.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Hope to do this again soon.
You got it. You got red carpet anytime. That's Lagos, everybody. So Lagos is going to go get mate now, and he's going to do his thing. And once again, thanks to William Clark and our friends at Union Omaha for making that happen on short notice, especially during a practice week, chasing after a championship. But yeah, the big story, in addition to what's been going on there, but the success for Union Omaha has been the story of Meshack Jerome. And so critically injured in a home explosion 2 weeks ago. And there's a GoFundMe out there if you should feel so inclined to help the family with expenses. But playing for Meshack, playing with Meshack, and you got to hear what kind of relationship Lagos has with Meshack Jerome. So they're playing with an additional purpose there in Omaha as they're chasing after a championship in USL League One. So thanks to our friends there in Omaha for orchestrating this, probably before practice this morning. So very, very cool. And thanks to, like I said, thanks to William Clark and everybody there in Omaha for giving us the chance to catch up with Lagos on short notice and to see what's going on there as they're going to play for a title on Sunday afternoon. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Now that we've got a chance to kind of catch our breath a little bit, Jessica Charman joining us at the top of the hour, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about with Jess. It is NWSL. It's the USL Super League. It is colleges, because I think Jess will be busy in the college ranks, and also what's going on in Major League Soccer. And then we'll put a bow on the week and get you ready for the weekend with anything and everything going on that you might have missed out on. Nations League in CONCACAF. You've got what's going on in Europe with international play. Stian Gregerson got a couple of minutes yesterday for the Norwegian national team. And so Stian is getting minutes, and he's logging that in as well. So we'll go back and recap everything as we go. So good morning, Alex. Morning, Harry. Morning, Jordan. Morning, Sharif. And morning, Fourcard. Morning, Tom. Morning, David. Morning, Derek. And there you go. So morning to all of you, however you are accessing us this morning. I was doing some research myself, and it is okay. So Jess wishes to push for Monday. So yeah, Jess can push to Monday. So all right. So Jessica Charman is pushing to Monday. So Jess will be here Monday, and we will figure out a time for Jess to hang out and join us, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll talk about what happened. And so yeah, literally Jess just texted me. So we will orchestrate things on Monday with Jess. So there we go. So Jessica Charman pushing to Monday. It's the beauty of live media, live radio, live TV, whatever you want to call it. So Bart is on Blue Sky. I had to do that digging myself. So yes, Sharif, flashbacking to another similar CONCACAF incident, well, another major tournament incident. Yes. And so yes, and in shootouts, you don't have to worry about spilling and rebounds and those kinds of things. But yeah, you have Matt Turner, who is 4 for 8 when it comes to penalty kick save opportunities. Very, very cool stuff. Morning, everybody. So David was hoping that St. Louis would get a St. Louis sponsor that sounded a little like KC, like Inter and Co. in Orlando. So if St. Louis were to get something Inter and Co-ish in Central Florida, who would it be? Yeah, you pop the top on Budweiser Park, something like that. I don't know. That'll be the thinking cap question for us this morning. Okay, so that'll be the thinking cap question. If it was something more Middle Florida-ish when it came to a stadium. And by the way, speaking of Middle Florida, we're booking our stuff, and it's going to be yet another SDH invasion down next weekend, next Sunday in Middle Florida. So we'll see all of you there that get to make the trip down there as well. So yeah, we'll be down there, and I think we'll be down there starting Saturday late, because we've got Academy Soccer, and we've got to navigate that before we all hop on planes and head south. So not this Monday coming up, but the Monday after the game in Middle Florida, that Monday's show. So you're having me do math on a morning. Okay, so the 25th, the morning show will be from Orlando, probably be from some business room or something like that, or a hotel room or something like that. So the morning show will be from Orlando on the 25th, because MCO does not really have late flights like they do here in Atlanta. So I was trying to figure out if there would be a way where I could leave late Sunday night after the match, and didn't happen. Like literally, like the last flight out is I think 7:30 or 8 on a Sunday night, and that's even with all of the highfalutin. That's all with all of the highfalutin airlines that fly in and out of Middle Florida. There's no real such thing as a late night flight out of MCO. So I'm staying Sunday night. So the morning show on the 25th will be from Middle Florida. And we will discuss what's going on with the purple team, and we'll do that on the 25th. So the 25th, we'll be down there for the match. And starting on the 23rd, we'll be down there for the match on the 24th. Morning show will be down from Middle Florida on the 25th before we hop on planes late night or late afternoon on Monday the 25th before we come back to see what's going on in this particular part of the planet. Derek talking about Team Canada. Failed hockey players. Woo. I don't know how many of them have actually played hockey. That would be an interesting question. How many of them grew up playing hockey? How many of them just stuck to what was going on with just on the soccer pitch? So we'll get into that. All right. So we've got to go through all of the news and everything. Since we were in the lower divisions, let's focus on lower divisions and let you know what's going on in that and in international play and all that kind of stuff. Yesterday in CONCACAF, just so you know, USA was a minus 109 on the road at Jamaica. Jamaica was a plus 301. Draw was a plus 231. The U.S. got the win, and we'll go over standings in a bit. El Salvador beat Bonaire 1-0. Bonaire, if I remember correctly, had the 39-year-old keeper who was not the most svelte individual, and there were photos circling around that Bonaire's keeper is 39 years old. They were plus 1,700, and they lose 1-0. Hosting El Salvador. In the play-in positions, Belize beat French Guiana 2-1 at a plus 154. Panama beat Costa Rica 1-0 at a plus 202. So a big road win for Panama yesterday. Today, you've got a couple of different things. St. Lucia, Grenada, and Grenada on the road's a plus 133. The Caymans and Guadeloupe a minus 2,500, by the way, going up against the Cayman Islands. League B, Curacao a minus 714 at St. Martin. Haiti a minus 5,000 at St. Martin at a plus 2,800. Barbados hosting Guyana at a minus 145. League A playoffs, Canada at Suriname at a minus 179. We probably should catch up with our friend Christian Jack and find out how things are going in Canada. Suriname north of plus 400. Honduras and Mexico, that is at 9 o'clock tonight. Available on networks of choice. Mexico going to Honduras at a minus 130, Honduras at a plus 330. And League B, Puerto Rico at home minus 556, hosting Aruba, who's plus 980. League B, Bermuda is minus 238, hosting both Antigua and Barbuda. It's like William and Mary, Antigua and Barbuda at a plus 560. Dominican Republic a minus 323 on the road at Dominica, who is a plus 685 in the composite. And we even have an early number on USA in Jamaica. They are at a minus 250, meaning the United States. Hosting Jamaica. Jamaica, once again, without Mason Holgate for the return fixture at the Pink Park on Monday. Monday at 8 Eastern time, so it's probably like 8:10 or something like that. So minus 250 and a plus 575 for Jamaica. David with a couple of good suggestions. Casey Masterpiece Stadium. But now, all right. So would the people in St. Louis get mad if you was calling it Casey Masterpiece? Would the territorial elements that are attached to that, would that draw some ire of some folks at the Pink Park? Because, well, right now it's pink. I don't know. It was kind of pink when it was City Park too. So would they get mad in St. Louis if it was called Casey Masterpiece? If it was a masterpiece in Kansas City, now that, and we do have some roster moves from some teams yesterday that were interesting that we'll get into for Major League Soccer, because once you're eliminated, then you get to announce folks that aren't going to be around anymore. So Sportsman's Warehouse Park, and David brings up some points. if the stadium was in Kansas City and Children's Mercy or the stadium that could hold a Sporting Kansas City 2 for MLS Next Pro, if they were looking for a sponsor, could you call it a KC Masterpiece? I think that would be kind of funny. I think that would be appropriate at the KC Masterpiece Stadium, where the stadium is a masterpiece in Kansas City. I think that would fit. And then Sportsman's Warehouse Park. If it looked like a warehouse, you could just call it Sportsman's Warehouse. Although I think that folks might kind of take ire to it. Yeah, this is not a warehouse. I mean, if it was a warehouse, you'd probably have to have a roof on it or something. So, but yeah, Derek admits KC Masterpiece would go over like a lead balloon. In St. Louis, yes. In Kansas City, not so much. But if the stadium was a masterpiece in Kansas City and you had KC Masterpiece that was there, I think that you could have the elements attached to it. So no, they'll keep them coming. We'll keep talking about it. Standings, by the way, in CONCACAF before we leave CONCACAF today. The League A playoffs once again, quarterfinals. Panama beat Costa Rica 1-0. USA beat Jamaica. So we're waiting for Canada, Suriname, Mexico, and Honduras. With how things were there. You're looking at Group A and Group B with everyone that had advanced forward, Costa Rica, Suriname, Jamaica, and Honduras through the 4 matches that were there. League B, just so we know. And remember, you win, you have the chance to get into Group A. Then you have to survive as one of the 4 second-place teams that are attached to it as well. The 4 winners and the 4 second-place teams. El Salvador currently leading Group A, 2 points ahead of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that's not a fair fight. St. Lucia and Curacao, we talked about that in Group B with the chaos that's going on that Glenn Crooks got to see yesterday. He's helping out his buddy Stern John, and it's on his 280 character app account. The video where they're like, take it down. Literally, they're telling the guys from Curacao, led by Dick Advocat, to take it down. That's where you are. Group C, Haiti is 6 points ahead of everybody else. Puerto Rico is second in the group. Haiti has run the table. They've won the first 4, and their goal difference is at a +13. Of course, when you're playing St. Martin and Aruba in Group C, and it's really just Haiti and Puerto Rico, then that's what you're anticipating a big number being put up by Haiti and Puerto Rico in that group. Group D, Dominican Republic has also put up big numbers. They have run the floor in their first 4. Bermuda, with a shock loss to Dominica to start group play, has Bermuda at 9 points, safely in second with 2 matches to go. And Dominica right now at 3 points. Antigua and Barbuda looking like the last team in each of the groups gets sent down to League C. So League B winners have a chance to go up, as do the second place teams, but the ones who finish last in their groups drop to League C, which currently are Montserrat, St. Martin, Aruba, and Antigua and Barbuda. So that's what League B looks like. League C, just so we have it, it is a handful of teams. It's 3 groups of 3. Barbados, Bahamas. Barbados has run the table in Group A. And it is Bahamas in second, Belize and Anguilla. They are 1 and 2 in Group B. Group C, St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caymans, with the British Virgin Islands not winning a match. And then the ranking of the second place teams, the Caymans, and goal difference with the Bahamas and Anguilla. So that's what you're looking at in there. And then in the play-in round, Rich Ransom has a note about Sporting Kansas City 2. Benny Feilhaber was not renewed. So St. Kitts and Nevis in the final in the play-in, they advance. Belize in the play-in, they advance. Guyana, Barbados, Guadeloupe, and the Caymans, we are waiting for those. So news from Rich, since we are now at the top of the hour. As a part of the roster moves yesterday that were made, Benny Feilhaber not returning as Sporting Kansas City 2's head coach in 25. So Sporting Kansas City 2 made that move yesterday. In Major League Soccer, once again, you have teams making roster decisions and news and things like that. So, with all of the news, you end up with Austin signing Danny Pereira to a contract extension. Minnesota United transferring Mikhail Marquez to Vastaras SK. We mentioned Diego Chara and his contract extension in Portland. So Sporting Kansas City moves on from Johnny Russell and Tim Melia. End of season roster moves confirming that Andreu Fontas and Remy Voltaire, among others, are leaving the club. Both out of contract, Russell and Melia. 2 wins in their first 16. Sporting never recovered, finishing next to last. 31 points in the Western Conference, missing out on the playoffs second time in 3 years. So that comes a year after Sporting moves on from Zusi and Roger Espinosa. And so now the key questions in Kansas City will come from Chief Soccer Officer and Manager Peter Vermes. What are you going to do in the offseason? How are you going to fix what's going on in the offseason? Johnny Russell signed from Derby County ahead of the 2018 season, 2-time club MVP, 20 and 22. Third all-time leading scorer across all comps, 67 goals. 34 years old, named club captain in 2021 after Matt Beasler's departure. Tim Melia, by the way, you want to talk about someone who is insane when it comes to saving penalties. Tim Melia is that guy. Sporting's all-time goalkeeping leader in regular season appearances with 260. Saves at 752. Shutouts at 69. Nice. Melia helped them win Open Cups in 15 and 17, player of the tournament in 2017, earning MLS Goalkeeper of the Year, Best 11 in 2017 as well. 38-year-old Melia, legendary penalty kick shootout performer, going a perfect 5 for 5 and 7 for 7 throughout his career in playoff deciders. 17 penalty saves in the regular season. 17 in the regular season. That's an insane number. The most in Major League Soccer since 2015. And we welcome in Nick Alifi for hour number 2. Nick Alifi, what is up in your mind, sir, as we go this morning?
I don't know, man. I'm just here. I'm trying to survive.
Yeah, as we all are.
Yeah.
It was an interesting first hour. We had Bart Keeler dropping by to discuss what happened with the USM&T and their win on a how do we best phrase this? A surface that needed some serious manicuring, I guess is probably the best way to phrase it, last night playing in Jamaica. I'm guessing that they gave the grounds crew the week off, considering the growth of that turf and the growth of that grass in Jamaica. In the end, the U.S. ends up getting the 1-0 win. But, yeah, when you're in these situations, you're going to do whatever you think benefits you. And if that means growing the grass to slow down the United States, it ends up slowing you down as well. But, yeah, that surface needed some manicuring.
Yeah, look, it was a win, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If it's 1-0 and it's not the dominating, crazy performance you wanted, then I get it. There's going to be some kind of hand-wringing going on. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do this against Belgium or Germany or France? But these are also the wins that you can hang your hat on later, right? Because you will end up playing a very good team on a very bad surface down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can walk into the locker room and say, fellas, remember what Jamaica?
Yeah.
We've done this before.
Yeah.
It's easier to get your mind back into that sort of peak performance state. You don't have to, there's no distraction at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what these wins do. So it's okay to, not have this sort of doomsday mentality.
What?
I know. It's crazy. But it's okay. It's 1-0. It's fine. No big deal. All is well.
You're not running into the darkness at the rear of the set and going, what's going on here? What's going wrong? It's not like Kevin in Home Alone up and down the staircase.
No, I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, it really is if right now you're building chemistry, right now you are building mentality for 26. That's all you're doing. You don't have to worry about qualifying. All you're doing is just building a level of cohesion amongst all the different levels of your player pool.
Right.
And you are building confidence going into 26, which is no matter what surface, no matter what temperature, no matter the weather, climate, doesn't matter, means nothing. No factor. Right? That's the two words that they are trying to build within this program right now. No factor.
Okay.
And so, all that matters is 11v11 and get the win. Just win, baby. It's Al Davis time.
Exactly. Speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
a point was made by Alex Pacine in the Twitch pitch.
An excellent point, might I add.
In a 1-0 win in League A in UEFA Nations League yesterday. Italy, quoting our bestest buddy and favorite Big Toe Sergeant Hulka, Italy at a plus 177, a slight road dog at Belgium, gets a 1-0 win in League A. And Sandro Tonali was the individual who scored said goal for Italy in their win in League A yesterday.
My boy Sandro. You know what I'm saying? Look, for some reason that is beyond me, UEFA and FIFA have an affection for Belgium that makes no sense. It makes no sense, and their fascination with losers is unbecoming of such two prestigious organizations as UEFA and FIFA.
Yeah.
Their fascination with significant talent with very little delivery is it's just fascinating to me. It's interesting that Belgium gets so much love because yet again Belgium proves that they are a group of individuals who cannot pull it together. They just don't. They have all the drama of France with none of the results. And that's a bad kitchen, right?
That is.
That's a bad kitchen. If you get all the drama, none of the results, you're not cooking anything.
I was going to say, if you're cooking in a kitchen and you've got the recipe there in front of you, and if you for some reason or another, if the meal doesn't come out right, then isn't that on the chef?
I mean, and if you go into the stats, right? So we go into the wonderful world of stats here.
Sure.
It was largely, outside of passes, a pretty even game, right? I mean, shots were 11 each, shots on target, 4 for Italy, 3 for Belgium. Possession was 54-46 Italy.
Yeah.
Passes 547 to 462 Italy. Pass accuracy 86-84 Italy. The fouls 9 and 8, and then Italy with 9. And then yellow cards, 3 for Belgium, 2 for Italy. And then offsides, though, 4 for Italy.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that level of offsides, because that just tells me that, you're being very progressive in, what you're trying to do in the attacking phase. Like, that's timing. A lot of that's timing, and that gets sorted.
Right.
7 corners to 1. For Belgium. Belgium had 7 corners. You're not able to make anything of it. That's a bit wacky in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you go to the standings, look at the goal scoring, right? Italy is leading this group with 12 goals scored. They're the only double-digit scoring team going. They have 5 goals allowed, right? Defensively stout. Belgium, only 6 goals forced.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about Belgium, is that they have attacking talent, right? They cannot put it together. And this is nothing new. And for any news organization, sports talk, podcast that looks at Belgium and says, well, Belgium should walk away with this, all you're doing is you're just roster reading. Like you're telling me you don't watch any games with Belgium, that you don't watch anything with them historically. It's all the same thing. It's Belgium nonstop. This is the Belgian golden generation. Golden of what? Like fool's gold, pyrite. It's the pyrite generation of soccer. I'm tired of hearing about how Belgium has this great, insane level of talent.
They have this great, insane level of talent, Nick.
But they do nothing with it. Nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they still ranked? Why are they still ranked above Italy? Why are they still ranked above people who, I don't know, have won a tournament in like the past 2 cycles? That's just, it's crazy to me.
Oh boy.
But I'm glad that Alex and I get to share the joys of Tonali. I'm very sad he's still not in red and black. Hopefully one day we can rectify that. However, at the moment, as long as he is performing well for Alex and performing well for my Azzurri, then may our joyous times continue.
Yes. A couple of other stories attached to that particular group to start things off, actually. Police broke up clashes, and once again, when you have more than one writer on a story, that's not necessarily a good byline to have. Tom Morgan, Peter Allen from The Telegraph. Headline, police break up ugly clashes involving Israel and France fans. Supporters involved in fights in the stands amid fierce protests outside the stadium over Israel being allowed to play. Article, outside the Stade de France, a fearsome police presence surrounded pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Skirmishes erupted in the stands during the match. Fans wearing Israel flags were involved in confrontations broken up by undercover French officers, although it was not immediately clear whether they were fighting pro-Palestine protesters. However, videos posted on social media showed scores of fans fleeing from the trouble in the stands. Only a small group of opposing fans appeared to be directly involved in confrontations. However, one man in particular appearing incensed and shouting in the direction of Israel supporters. Fighting quickly broken up by officers. Reporters on the ground said skirmishes were fleeting. One Israel fan who asked not to be named said he was in Paris on an organized visit and had recently been fighting with the IDF in Lebanon. Quote, I've come along to the game to enjoy the football, and I'm sorry there is so much tension between the two sets of supporters. I have no interest in getting involved in fighting in France. There's plenty ongoing back home. So that was part of that. And then the English fans apparently were mad that they were being treated the way that they were being treated before the the match against Greece. And apparently they were none too happy. They treat us like animals, England fans complain about Greek riot police. I'm bringing in Jarrett here for the last hour as well. But, yeah, apparently the Mike McGrath in Athens and Ben Rumsby, Athens meaning Greece, not Georgia. They got a different set of issues this weekend with Tennessee. Mike McGrath and Ben Rumsby, the FA and Football Supporters Association have launched investigations after England fans say they were, quote, lucky, end quote, to avoid a disaster after allegedly receiving, quote, unnecessary treatment from Greek police. Testimonies on social media detail how some of the 3,500 traveling fans struggled to get inside the Olympic Stadium in Athens before England's 3-0 win over Greece in Nations League. Police in riot clothing with shields and batons marshaled out the supporters as they queued to get into the 70,000 sellout, many not getting into the stadium before the kickoff at 9:45 local time. Some have complained about the use of tear gas and say fans were pushed as they were queued. FA spokesperson came out. We are aware that some of our fans had a difficult experience. This is an undersell. We are aware that some of our fans had a difficult experience outside the ground and are obtaining more information on exactly what happened. And so then you had Free Lions Fans Embassy posting on the 280-character app. There's videos about a lot of queues. More fans shared claims of being pushed and receiving heavy-handed treatment from Greek police outside the stadium. Footage on social media showing fans crowded into a small area as they attempted to get into the match. Others suggested there were only 2 toilets for the away end, and they were located outside the stadium. Jude Bellingham was targeted by supporters with a green laser. Green light shown on him from the stands when he touched the ball. And there is video of that. There are stills of that. Bellingham hoped to open the scoring with a pass to Ollie Watkins in the 7th minute. Noticeable that Bellingham had a green light pointed toward his face and the body when he touched the ball, and also after an early booking for dissent. So Once again, nothing changes. The more things go down the timeline, the less it changes, gentlemen. So once again, you're in Nations League play, and things like this continue to happen. So, hi, Jarrett. Good morning. Morning, Nick. Dive in at any point.
You know, the real trick with this kind of thing, first of all, is the fact that Europe likes to tell everybody how much better they got it for soccer when they have all this crap go on. You're not better than everyone. You're just European. You just have better mass transit. And some of your countries have better ideas on how to take care of people in a social setting. Also, the real challenge with this is never that it happens. It's that, can you discuss it without being almost cartoonishly racist?
I don't know if that's the case.
Well, and here's another thing is that I don't understand why the English supporters are so shocked and amazed that they get treated this way everywhere they go, because everywhere they go, there's problems. Even in their own home country. Do we remember the Euro final where they stormed their own freaking stadium, beat up their own stadium's security, and broke down doors and tore the place apart? I mean, you act like that in your own house, you know? Why should I think that you won't come to my house and act the same way? So I understand that there are good English fans, good and proper English fans who are showing up with their Vegemite and their whatever beans and toast and having just watching a proper game of footy. I get it, but the problem is that the douche canoes of your fan base are so loud and so stupid.
Yeah.
And then they complain nonstop about everything, and then they continuously antagonize other supporter groups. That what should we expect?
Yeah.
I mean, Germany's come a very long way from the bombers. You know, the Blitz is over. The Blitz is over, guys. Churchill's gone. We don't have to worry about singing about German bombers anymore. We can move on and, maybe not tear your own place apart, because Thatcher's gone too, right? So, that the crazy repression, you don't have to worry about any of that. Just, it's okay to show up and be chill and watch a game and go and have some fun,
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if you can actually have those kinds of things.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's levels to the antics that people do, because like you get this, but you got. I think for me, it's just the lack of true absurdity. Like CONMEBOL and CONCACAF will have issues like this as well, where fans are mistreated, and it's not okay ever. Even for the English, it's not okay to mistreat people. Like you in a perfect world, you'd like everyone to have a safe space to watch the game. But it seems like this is just what they have going on. Whereas in South America, they have this, but then you also get things like throwing a pig head on the field, or dislodging a toilet and throwing a toilet on the field. And there's just a little level of absurdity that doesn't exist as frequently in Europe that they're missing. It's kind of like somebody made eggs and they just didn't put the spices on them to make them crazy enough.
Oh man. Aye.
Oh, by the way, thank you, David, for your kind comments, and for card. How you doing, boss? You doing all right?
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking.
But and I know that nobody wants to touch France-Israel with a 20-foot pole, and because it's Chernobyl radioactive. But it's, I think it goes to what's happening largely at a worldwide level. It concerns me about sports, and that is that sports used to be, a distraction. Whether it was bread and circus or, hey, look, we're just here to take your mind off of things for a little bit. You know, I've seen and very recently how sports can be used to the positive.
Yeah.
And especially down in South Georgia, you know, where you have essentially what a place that looks like a war zone where people were able to come together and have a tiny bit of normalcy for a little while. But I've also seen where sports are now being used as your megaphone. It's now being used as an extension of your rage. And because you have no other outlet for it, you know, and you don't feel like you're being heard by anyone else. So let's just go turn our sporting event into an extension of my rage.
Yeah.
That is the concerning thing for me, you know, and because the world has shown me that it's only going to get dumber, you know, like it's only going to get far more ignorant. Um, it is, it's something where we are as humanity are going to, we're going to have to figure out what to do with our rage.
Mhm.
And we're going to have to figure out how to do it in a non-nuclear way.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure out how to do it in a way that does not involve dead kids. We're going to have to figure out a way to do it that doesn't involve, you know, concert goers being massacred. We're going to have to do it in a way that doesn't involve people climbing fences and smashing security guards to try to get a seat to watch a game. We're going to have to figure out a whole bunch of stuff. Humanity, we kind of need to get off, you know, the household chemicals that we're ingesting recreationally to get ourselves sorted and figure out how to, I don't know, hate each other for the right reasons. You know, hate each other because you're wearing a Juventus kit. You know, I think that's, you know,
We
that's
used to have a
justifiable,
way
right?
we used to have a way to address this. It was called mall arcades, kid.
Yeah, you know, like you know, we used to do this at like the Mortal Kombat 2, you know, game at the arcade. We would like, I'll just take all your money and then I'll whoopsie you in the corner until you get absolutely enraged and leave the arcade. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were peaceful ways of handling this that still enriched me, but I don't know, man. I have a number of concerns about where we are right now and how we address rage. And you know, like I enjoy trash talking Juventus. There's some people who I care about deeply who are Juve fans. I'm convinced that they have been huffing Drano for a few years. That doesn't mean I hate them. That you know, I do question their recreational activities. You know, Inter fans, same thing. You know, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you've been trying to put raid all over your house and you're kind of getting buzzed off of the bug spray. I have no idea, but we can do these things without, you know, being absolute you know, morons to each other. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Speaking,
I really hate the international. This is one of the reasons I hate the international break, because we cannot go. I don't know if we can go an international break without somebody on this godforsaken planet doing something stupid, like a federation.
Yeah.
You're always going to be kind of playing with loaded dice, because so many of these federations are like Dudley Do Right cartoon level corrupt.
Yes.
So you're always going to have something just kind of that sort of Damocles hanging over the idea of something stupid's going to happen. Well, yes, because so many of these federations are cartoonishly corrupt and in some cases incompetent. And to where we get to have, you know, the great question of, or the great adage of, don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence, because sometimes it's a little column A, little column B, sometimes it's more of one or the other. But it makes it makes the international breaks exhausting for me personally. Not everyone shares that view. That's fine. Live your best life.
yes.
But I'm just, yeah, I would like to enjoy games. I'd like to enjoy stupid things like Argentina losing
Yes.
to Paraguay. That was amazing. That was hilarious. I'd like to enjoy these things without having to deal with, like, people getting completely out of pocket and deciding to make us all have to have conversations, and also at the same time bonus points to these people for torpedoing their own lives in the process in some cases, because say or do whatever you want, but some of the stuff that people do, like, hey, they have cameras.
Mm-hmm.
You know your life's it's not going to be the same after you do something stupid.
No,
not in 2024, buddy.
No. Paraguay, by the way, was a plus 416 at home.
Woo.
In that matchup against Argentina, who Argentina was a minus 115. And speaking of,
money changed hands on that one.
Yes, and Ecuador shut out Bolivia 4-0 at a minus 556.
Shout out to Efrain Morales.
Absolutely, absolutely
got the start.
Yeah, absolutely true. And Venezuela and Brazil finished at a 1-1 draw. That was the early match yesterday at a plus 286. Venezuela, by the way, what was Venezuela? Was a plus 600 to win outright. Brazil a minus 182. And what did Venezuela do to try and ensure the frustration of Brazil late in the match to try and get a point out of the deal? Somehow, the sprinklers in the stadium went off with about a minute and a half to go in time that was added on by the man in the middle.
Hey, teamwork makes the dream work.
Just ask the grounds crew in Jamaica about letting the grass grow. Ask the folks who set the timers at the stadium in Venezuela about when the sprinklers are supposed to come on after a match. My guess is they were probably set to come on at 6 o'clock anyway, and it just so happened that the match started at 4, and in and around 6 o'clock, it's time for the sprinklers to water the field. And hey, there was still a minute and a half to go in the match, and the Brazil squad was less than pleased that they were having to navigate the sprinklers as they were trying to gather some momentum and try and get a game winner that they didn't get.
I see nothing wrong with this.
This is
look, these things. First of all, let me go ahead and speak on behalf of my dear friends with Venezuela, and say that in these times of modern technology, mishaps occur.
Yes.
And my clients are very apologetic by the timing of the sprinkler system going off. But unfortunately, these are the things that happen when you are attempting to modernize systems, and bugs are guaranteed to occur. So we look forward to the next game in which we can in which we can meet our dear friends to the south and have great times playing the world's sport, the beautiful game, and we look forward to that opportunity.
Yes. And so
shout out to the time over the summer when we were like Brazil got to like deal with Costa Rica's the darkest of magic that Costa Rica could pull out. And I never thought I'd see the day where a Comebol team would be flat-footed by the dark magic, like shit heel antics of another club. But man, I'll never forget watching Costa Rica basically take that wrestling match and just turn it into a stalemate. Like, just turned it into a ground match, and basically just locked it in submission for 3 minutes.
Robots.
No moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a Roman Greco. It was like an Olympic wrestling match where someone is very overmatched but has a good ground game, and he just was like, you know what? For the next 3 minutes, we're not going to wrestle. I'm just going to hold you here.
Wow.
Yeah. In jiu-jitsu, it's called pulling guard. So you have somebody who's a really good technician and somebody who knows they're outmatched, and the person who knows they're outmatched just pulls guard. It's like, I'm going to wrap the legs, and we're just going to sit here the whole time.
Yeah, we're kind of going to grapple in our Greco-Wrestle-Romaning for a good
The
time.
least you could do is trade recipes during that time and figure out something good that you can cook for dinner when you get home.
Yeah.
You make this time productive for you.
Right.
Argentina, after 11 matches, 3 points ahead of Colombia. Colombia's match in hand gets taken care of today. Colombia could draw even on points, still be behind on goal difference. Brazil, 11 matches, 17 points with the draw. Uruguay at 16 points. They've drawn 3 of their last 4. They're ahead of Ecuador on goal difference. Ecuador unbeaten in their last 4. Paraguay at a +1 in goal difference. They've won 3 of 4. They are 6th. 7th is your play-in spot right now, and that is Venezuela, who has drawn 3 of their last 4. They're at 12 points ahead of Bolivia, well ahead of Bolivia on goal difference, -2 to -14. Peru is at 6 points. Chile is at 5 points, and those two square off today, as a matter of fact. And if you want to hear, you have a Colombia and Chile going at it today. So Colombia, they could be a part of it, and Brazil's playing Peru. Sorry, my bad. I had it wrong. I'm clicking the wrong dates.
It's okay. It's okay.
Peru's playing Chile today at the bottom of the table, and so this could be one of those elimination 6-pointers if you look at it that way. And then Uruguay and Colombia is going on today. We'll get into the juice boxes there in just a little bit. We mentioned, enjoying the experience at a soccer match.
Mm-hmm.
Saw this from our friends at The Independent. Now, and I'm going to go ahead, and you feel free to react in real time as I relay the story here. And this is from our friend Chris Wilson at The Independent. 4 clubs in the Women's Championship will allow fans to drink while in their seats during home matches this season in a bid to help create the game's own distinct atmosphere. Birmingham City and Southampton, understood to be part of the 4-club trial, which is being put in place by the Women's Professional Leagues Limited. They took over ownership of the Women's Super League and the Women's Championship from the FA last August, with Nikki Doucette, the chief executive of the company, having previously discussed the desire for the trial to take place. The WPLL want to assess whether drinking in seats would contribute positively to the creation of a better atmosphere, or if it will lead to worse behavior from fans.
Brother, we give alcohol to teenagers at SEC games with 100,000 screaming psychopaths. Nothing good happens. Does something bad always happen? No, not necessarily. Does anything good happen? No.
No.
This is kind of like throwing the football. 3 things can happen. 2 of them are bad.
Yes. Thank you, Woody Hayes. Though the selection process hasn't been finalized yet, the trial will likely take place across Birmingham and Southampton, as well as 2 more clubs, and the identity of the other 2 is not yet known, reports the Times. The women's game has previously adopted the same alcohol laws as men's football, where alcohol has been banned from consumption in view of the pitch since 1985 in the top 5 tiers, and a change to the rules in the women's game would not require a change to any FA rules or legislation, but merely an alteration of the WPLL's own rules. Trial set to begin after the new year. Clubs required to meet certain criteria to be involved. These include sufficient hospitality offerings, the ability to gather necessary data from sales, and high-quality CCTV. Both Birmingham women and Southampton women play at their club's main stadia, St. Andrews and St. Mary's, so they'll likely meet the criteria, and they're sufficiently large that any crowd trouble would likely be limited. Speaking at Leaders Week London last month, Doucette announced the trial and said, quote, "We're going to test it in a couple of teams in the championship this season, and we'll see what we learn from that. I think the behavior of our fan base is different. It's about giving our fans choices while maintaining safety and being responsible," end quote. Nick, you're already laughing.
Yeah. This is just acceptable bad. That's all it is. It's acceptable bad. Like we need a little bit of spice from our fans, right? And we need to make better television. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's not like there's going to be recreational cocaine tables set up outside of the stadium, right? So what are we going to do instead? Just start serving booze. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Alex says this is why people in the UK spend as little time in the stadium as possible. Into the seats as the ball is kicked and out the door ASAP. So that's
picturing Nick is just describing Don Eladio's villa in Breaking Bad, and just imagining that. But soccer match.
Yeah.
And this is man. This is already going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, John, I don't think about it that much because we're so used to having recreational drinking
Correct.
American sports venues all the time.
Correct.
Like, you can go to a Kennesaw State game and grab a beer.
Are you
Like,
sure you want to now?
No.
Well, you have to grab a beer in order to survive
You
the
might-
game at this point.
You might have to play.
18,
You might have to suit up.
18 players in the portal immediately after the decisions that happened in the midweek. 18.
Yeah, well,
But point being, like, it's a different world, because I mean, like, you have, like, teams will sponsor and have their own alcohols. Like Atlanta United too had their own beer. They had their own cider that was like they partnered with a brewery or cidery. I need another rise in meaderies. We need to go back to people just making mead.
oh yes,
and,
yes.
and enjoying like mead out of a horn
Oh, wow.
as you take
Monk's
a Viking
Mead.
boat across Lake Lanier.
Monk's Mead, you can go to Monk's Mead, and Monks, if any of you guys are listening to this, you better have my damn horn still. You can get a horn and you can drink your mead from the horn, like a true psychopath that a psychopathic farmer who just jumps in your longboat and goes rowing and slaughters Englishmen indiscriminately. Whilst taking the town gold. So,
and to Alex's point, have to maximize mouth-filling concessions. Yeah,
yeah,
you're going to try and maximize every not just profit in general, but every profit avenue.
And
So-
KSU apparently had their own beer, according to Alex, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's been consumed by the leadership there. And one mass sitting.
Wow.
it's being consumed right now probably by the poor people who have to run the social media accounts, who have to deal with all the fallout, even though they didn't make the decisions.
Yeah. So four card, we're talking about how in England the women's game, they are test running serving alcohol during games where you can be in your seat drinking booze.
Yeah.
And which has not been allowed since like 85.
Yeah.
So we, in the true SDH fashion, have tied it back to what's happening here and how the European mind could never comprehend going to a football event here in America and not drinking. And then that, of course, led to Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
The absurd handling of their firing of Coach Bohannon.
Oof.
And where they said he resigned, he did not. And
Like, no, I didn't.
yeah, he was voluntold to leave.
Yeah.
And which is also known as firing. And they have 18 players who have entered the portal. So now we're saying that at Kennesaw State, you probably need the booze to be able to remain the entirety of the game.
18. 1-8. On your way to 19 and on your way to 20.
Yeah, four card. It's
Yeah,
soccer
that's
over there in the morning.
You also might have to suit up for Kennesaw.
Yeah. Four card.
If I wasn't emotionally torn about the idea of supporting just their clown shoes decision making, I'd be interested to go watch them play, because I imagine the ticket they might pay you to go.
Yeah.
And it's still college football, and you'll at least get to see one team.
Yeah.
There's that. The European mind cannot comprehend. Can you imagine the pearl clutching in England if let's send an SEC game over there? The pearl clutching in England the first time they hear neck.
Oh my God.
That either they're gonna faint or they're gonna like co-opt it and try and find a way to use it for some. I don't know, man. What club over in England is the most likely to use neck?
Oh man.
Oh.
Millwall.
Yeah, that's where my heart went to.
Yeah. Blank you, I'm neck.
Yeah.
And somehow it's even going to get worse if they do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Millwall would take neck and somehow make it even more neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, the get-in price at the Fraction, 3:00 tomorrow afternoon for Sam Houston and Kennesaw State, or what's left of Kennesaw State, $8 get-in price. And Sam Houston is a 16-point favorite. Your total 42.5, and just make sure that you send the best vibes humanly possible to Chandler Burks.
Yeah,
Take
I'll take the over, and I'll put all of it on Sam Houston. Like, take the over, and all of the over is going to be by Sam Houston.
Yeah, that 42.5. You're assuming a lot of the onus goes to Sam Houston State, and to get to that 42.5, and it's going to be a long day. Games on the plus, but get in price $8 to the Fraction for keeping an eye on what's left of Kennesaw State football. So you got that to look forward to tomorrow. But yeah,
and now you have alcohol in the English women's game.
Yeah,
somebody's going to show up to that one of those games where there's drinking in the women's league in England.
Yes.
Someone is going to do something that's going to sabotage their professional career, and it's going to be done as a fan because they can't hold their liquor and they can't hold their tongue. Mm-hmm. And it is annoying, though, because you should be able to enjoy a drink at a game. Like,
yes.
You should be able to be a responsible adult.
Well, no, I'm mad that it's the women who have to be the guinea pigs for this.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm mad about. I'm mad that it has to be the women who are the guinea pigs for this. No. Take that mess, square up to the men's group, and because they, I doubt there's going to be a ton of sexist remarks made to the men playing, and the women don't deserve to be the guinea pigs here. It's not. There's a reason why we call it guinea pigs, right? Because we're testing the, we do the animal testing.
You're testing the guinea, yes.
Yeah, because we are, we don't want to test it on humans. Hey, sorry, we put this eyeshadow on, on a 12-year-old, and it caused a violent chemical burn on, this poor kid's face. No. We're going to do that to the guinea pig instead, right? For the women who are already dealing with idiocy at a critical mass, now you're going to do alcohol infused critical mass. Like, the women don't deserve that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Give it to the men. Give it to the men, so that way when some yob starts running their mouth and you do it to some really, really pissed off Welshman, mm-hmm. the Welshman goes Ron Artest and runs up into the crowd and starts combat kicking the guy in the face. That right there is good TV, right? Having it where some women are out there, playing a great game. They're building their sport up. The last thing you need to do when they're in the building phase is insert some bat blank crazy variables.
Yes.
You do that to the established order. I don't know.
All right, so I have a rundown here in front of me of stories, and I will let you guys, in addition to what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and gossip, rumor, and innuendo. We've got that toward the end of the show. I have a couple of stories here. I have an interesting story about is the third time the charm. I have a cool story involving someone that we have followed their career, and a new announcement involving this particular individual and a touchline. And I also have a story about a new trophy. Which story do you guys want to talk about next? Which one of those three topics?
Jared, go for it.
Let's do the trophy because I need Nick. I know what trophy it is. Nick, do you know the cinematic masterpiece 13 Ghosts?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you remember the end of the movie where it's in the puzzle room with Tony Shalhoub's having to jump across the floor that's spinning like it's a Silent Hill trap?
Indeed.
Yeah, it's a trophy that kind of looks like that.
So the Club World Cup has a trophy. It is rather thick, gold plated for the 32 team tournament, designed by FIFA, made by Tiffany & Co. the jeweler, Tiffany & Co. Gianni Infantino has had his name engraved on the trophy not once, but twice.
Yeah.
The inscription on the cup includes a passage which reads, quote, "We are witness to a new age, the golden era of club football, the era of FIFA Club World Cup, the pinnacle of all club competitions, inspired by the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino." And then there are a couple of, in the Times, there are a couple of close-ups of said trophy. Infantino's signature is also engraved on the trophy as, quote, "Founding President, Gianni Infantino," closed quote, period. The wording is engraved in 13 languages, including ancient Greek and Latin.
Bro, we had that. It was called the Georgia Guidestones. You created the Georgia Guidestones into a trophy.
The 54-year-old, according to the Times, has at least not gone as far as one of his predecessors. The first World Cup was named the Jules Rimet Trophy in honor of the Frenchman who launched the tournament in 1930 while he was president of FIFA. FIFA has also released a 4-minute interview with Infantino talking about the trophy. He describes the tournament as, quote, "daring and bold when it comes to its format," close quote, even though it replicates the format used at World Cups for national teams between 1998 and 2022. 32 teams, 8 groups of 4 before 4 knockouts. Infantino adds, quote, "This tournament is definitely a game changer for club football at a worldwide level."
Oh, yeah.
FIFA said the design of the trophy was not led by Infantino and was intended to portray football's history. Chelsea and Manchester City, 2 English clubs among the 12 European clubs involved in the tournament from June 15, 2025 to July 13. The draw will take place in Miami on December 5. At least that one will be held in person and not the vote for the 2034 World Cup, which is apparently going to be done virtually. So,
yeah, everyone is really stoked to watch the Kashima Antlers take on Real Madrid. That is high on my list of things that are worthy of such a magnificent trophy that looks like the Starship delivery vehicle from the movie Contact.
yeah, it does.
You know, that to me, that is well done, Gianni. Well done.
Well, I mean, it's his old thing. So I figured I would bring that to the floor this morning. I have 2 coaches' stories. One, third time's the charm, and welcoming somebody back. Where do you want to go next?
Third time's the charm.
All right. Claudio Ranieri out of retirement for Roma at the age of 73.
Hell yes.
At the end of the season, he's going to take a role as an advisor to the owners. He's the 4th head coach for Roma this season, coming out of retirement at the age of 73 to take charge until the end of the year, days after the sacking of Croatian Ivan Juric, 3rd coach of the season. And this is his 3rd time coaching his hometown club, having guided the Giallorossi from 09 to 011 and again in 2019. Club statement, quote, "AS Roma pleased to announce that Claudio Ranieri is the new head coach of the first team at the end of the season. Claudio will transition into a senior executive role where he'll be an advisor to the ownership on all sporting matters at the club. The search for a future coach will proceed over the next months. Claudio will have input in that decision as well," end quote. Fired on Sunday, Juric was, after the 3-2 home loss to Bologna, left Roma 12th, 4 points above the relegation zone. Juric replaced Daniele De Rossi in September. Ranieri becomes Roma's 4th coach this year, De Rossi having taken over from Jose Mourinho in January. Dan and Ryan Friedkin have had a crisis-filled season, according to our friends at The Guardian. Fans protested after De Rossi was fired. The CEO and general manager, Lina Soluku, resigned days later after fans blamed her for De Rossi's departure. Ranieri helped Cagliari avoid relegation last season and said that would be his final club job. Best known for leading Leicester in the Prem in 2016 to English audiences anyway. Faces a difficult debut at the Serie A leaders Napoli in 10 days' time.
Well, okay. Let me go ahead and start with this. I do not. Claudio Ranieri is an institution, right? One of the good guys in the game. Everywhere he goes, people love him. Cagliari, their ultras are known for being nutcases, and even they had tears in their eyes when Claudio, quote unquote, retired. But he will never abandon Roma. Never. Like that's his baby. He will never, ever, 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 ever walk away from that. Like if he could be 97 years old, and if Roma calls, the man would answer. He would drag himself out of palliative care to be on the touchline. He's like, I can't. He's like the Dusty Rhodes of Italian coaches, right? The man's going to end up like, God forbid, the man's going to die on the touchline. And at the end of the day, I'm happy for him, because if he's happy and he's coaching and Roma is somewhat competitive, it's good for the game over in Italy anyways. Mm-hmm. The Friedkins, this is a problem of the Friedkins' own making. These guys have got to get out of the way. They're going full Snyder, Dan Snyder on Roma. Where they think they know better than anyone else. They think they have all the analytics. They think they have. And the same damn thing is being played out across Italy right now, where you have these Americanized owners who come in and they do analytics, and they don't understand the Italian game. And they don't understand the personalities. They don't understand the Italian culture. They don't understand anything outside of revenue generation. And they are killing Roma. Mm-hmm. Slowly but surely, because and they're not doing it, like in a way that is, like what you see John Fisher doing with the A's, right? Where it's intentional. Oh. What you're seeing is like very much like Dan Snyder, which is I think I know better than anyone else, so I'm going to run the team the way I want to. And now you're sitting just above the relegation zone. So if Claudio can come in, and here's the one thing that will happen, he will have enough clout, not only in the locker room, but in the organization surrounding the Friedkins, that if people will go to the Friedkins and say, look, if Claudio says we need to do this, I think we just need to trust him. But he's a bridge. Claudio knows he's a bridge. He doesn't care that he's a bridge, and he's going to get it sorted. But the Friedkins have to step back. This is their issue. They are creating this. No one else, no external forces. This is a pure internal self-own. They are hitting themselves in the crotch with a rake because they keep stepping on the damn thing.
Ow.
It's a Japanese game show of buffoonery with these idiots, and they've got to get it sorted.
Oh, it is MXC at points, most certainly. I will grant you that. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it before we get out of here. Trending rumors, and we'll basically treat this like cliffhanger. If there's one you guys want to talk about, just go ahead and start talking about it. Liverpool evaluating Ricardo Pepi as a potential transfer target, according to Ekrem Konur. PSV have set the 21-year-old's transfer fee at €25 million. PSG and Barca remain interested in Kavica Kvaratskhelia contract negotiations with Napoli as that continues per Gazzetta dello Sport. Under contract at Napoli until 2027. Current deal sees him earning just €1.5 million a year. Negotiations set to continue this week. Kvaratskhelia currently requesting a salary increase to just under €8 million a season. PSG reportedly willing to test Napoli's resolve once more, having a €100 million bid rejected last summer. Chelsea could rival Real Madrid and Manchester United for Norwegian wunderkind Sverre Nypan, according to Team Talk. 17-year-old can play midfield and attack, has already featured over 50 times for Rosenborg since making his debut earlier this year. Dortmund also monitoring, under contract until December of 26. Rosenborg seeking a transfer fee of €25 million. Real Madrid want to sign Trent Alexander-Arnold. Bayer Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah and Bayern Munich left back Alphonso Davies on freeze, according to AS this summer. Keen to save money, and they'll have gotten themselves a huge bargain if they can get all three for nothing. ESPN sources also revealed that they're keen on signing Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, but that could cost you €100 million. United and Liverpool keen on signing Jedi Robinson, according to Football Insider, and so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Nick Juve's Paul Pogba set to become a free agent in the coming days by terminating his contract. 31-year-old set to restart his career in March after seeing his ban for taking DHEA reduced from 4 years to 18 months.
Yeah, but yeah, look, just go to MLS, dude. And that's not a knock on MLS. It is. It's the one place outside. Like
Can he
he'll
run enough for that?
For the right team. For the right team, he can. I mean, he can get a paycheck. He'll run enough to get a paycheck. You know, one of the LA teams will take him. I mean, look, they signed Douglas Costa. The Galaxy did when Costa was washed.
That was bad.
So yeah, look for one of the LA teams to end up snagging him. But Pogba, again, a mess of his own creation. You know, he'll get offers in Turkey, but if he wants to enjoy his final years playing at a competitive level, go to the Galaxy, make an offer they can't refuse, and then just sign a Douglas Costa contract.
Ugh.
Or yeah, Saudi will take him. Saudi will take him. 4-card with a great shout on that one.
Mm-hmm. Garnacho would only leave Manchester United for Real Madrid. United have been linked with a swap deal for Garnacho and Atletico midfielder Pablo Barrios plus 40 million euro. Argentina International would only join Atletico's rivals. As a result, Manchester City have entered the race to sign Barrios for 100 million euro. Bayern Munich and Barcelona in the race with Real Madrid to sign Jonathan Tah when he becomes a free agent. Financial constraints could scupper Aymeric Laporte's dream move to Real Madrid. International, he's being lined up as a temporary replacement for Eder Militao, who's been ruled out for the rest of the season because of injury. Laporte's sizable 20 million euro a year contract at Al Nassr proving to be an issue. No contact between Real Madrid and former defender Sergio Ramos over a possible return to the club as a free agent, according to Fabrizio Romano. Roma defender Mario Hermoso said he is honored to be one of Real Madrid's transfer targets, a youth product of Madrid, and joined Roma as a free in the summer after 5 seasons at Atletico Madrid, but he claims he could be interested in returning to his former club. River Plate will have to pay 2 million euro to sign Nicolas Otamendi from Benfica in January as his contract expires in the summer. The 36-year-old has often expressed a desire to play for River. Lille pushing to finalize the 15 million euro transfer of Cercle Bruges forward Kevin Dinky. FC Cincinnati also keen on that one, according to Rudy Galletti. So keep an eye on that. And possibly getting a striker in FC Cincinnati. And Jared, apparently Lucho Costa at the FC Cincinnati exit interviews was like, it might be it might not be it. I don't know.
Acosta is acting like that girl you knew on Facebook back in 2008 who just posted some passive-aggressive, it just never gets better. And then someone asks, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. I don't want to talk about it. I hope it gets better. Yeah, me too.
Perfect analogy. Perfect analogy. 0 notes. Perfect.
According to Suit Analytics, and this just popped in, according to Sebastian Sroer from Radio Continental, apparently Newcastle declares Miguel Almiron negotiable and is asking for $10 million US.
Garth. Can you imagine Almiron and Miranchuk together?
Woo!
Almiron's speed.
Put him on the wing opposite Saba. Like if you're not convinced that and God bless Shande for finally able to get over that foot injury, but even if you kept Shande as a depth piece, imagine if it's Miranchuk pulling the strings in the middle with Saba and then Miguel floating out. Probably invert and play Saba and play them inverted and play Miguel on the right and let him cut in on his left foot, but also having the freedom to just kind of move wherever he wants. Jesus Christ!
I mean, you're talking
then go
about
get a striker and.
I mean, that would be like Brady DeMoss. That's what it'd be scoring like blank you goals.
So you'd be saying that you just got Miggied or you just got Sabad?
Look, Miranchuk's timing on his passes, it took him a little bit to get sorted with the American windows and American timing. Once he got it down, game changer, right? So if you were able to put if Saba's inside runs, Miggy's vertical runs, my God, it would just be, oh man, that would be absolutely well. And
And the prodigal son returns home. Yeah.
and that Miggy's lady loved living in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
There's
throwing that out there,
Garth. Yeah, on line one. Real Madrid considering a 45 million euro move to sign Murillo from Forest. Wolves left back Hugo Bueno on loan at Feyenoord on the way to a Barca. Crystal Palace want to sign Chelsea's 70 million euro winger Mikhailo Mudryk on loan in January. Liverpool and Chelsea tracking Red Star Belgrade midfielder Andrija Maksimovic. So that is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it before we wrap it up on a Friday where absolutely this turned into SOT for hour number 2, and I'm all for it. AFCON qualifying underway now on beIN and beIN in Espanol, Cape Verde and Egypt, 2 o'clock Gabon and Morocco. If you don't have the beINs, you can get it at Fanatis, along with Nuestra Tele for the fans, Liga 1 Max, Liga 1 Max Pro, CDO, TIC, and our buddy Nino Torres and Gold TV. FNTZ.co/soccer down here helps out Fanatis, helps out us, and it helps you become a true degenerate. Jason got me hooked. I blame him. Nations League at 2:45, Denmark and Spain on FS2. 2 to NA has Switzerland and Serbia at 2:45. FIFA Plus had New Zealand and Vanuatu at 1:30 in the morning. So for those of you that are insomniacs and you want to watch Oceania qualifying, you can do so at FIFA Plus. Fox Soccer Plus, Cyprus, Lithuania at noon, Scotland, Croatia at 2:45. One Football had Indonesia and Japan. So you're looking for Far Eastern things very early in the morning before this show starts. Go to One Football. Paramount Plus, CONCACAF Nations League, all up and down the line. Cayman and Guadeloupe at 3, St. Lucia, Grenada at 3, Barbados, Guyana at 6, St. Martin, Curacao at 6, Suriname, Canada at 6:30, Puerto Rico, Aruba at 7, Honduras, Mexico at 9, Sint Martin and Haiti at 9, CONMEBOL qualifying, Uruguay, Colombia at 7, Peru, Chile at 8:30. You can hear what Nino Torres has to say on it on our social media platforms. VIX has 8 Nations League matches, 1 at noon, 7 at 2:45, including our friends from San Marino who take on Gibraltar and host in a big matchup in the group stage at 2:45. So keep an eye on that one as well. Jared, I forgot to mention the other piece of coaching news, and I forgot to mention. By the way, our buddy Jack Collison is back as a head coach. Southern Soccer Academy Swarm are delighted to announce that Jack is going to be the head coach of the League 2 program for the 25-26 season. So Jack Collison and SSA Swarm combining for League 2 starting in the 25-26 season. So there's your notes on Jack. That was the other coaching piece of news that we had this morning.
Well, also, it's not coaching news yet because it's not sure, but I personally am buying futures on Toronto needing a head coach before February.
Yep.
Yes.
Man, Jim Curtin in Toronto would just be the most heel move possible, too. Oh, my God.
Am I the only one who wants nothing of Jim Curtin here in Atlanta?
No, you're not. No.
I want nothing of that guy here. Nothing.
Here's the thing, man. Like, I'm okay not doing that. I'm okay not going down that route. I think he is a good coach. I think he got a lot out of some of the shitty spending that Philadelphia gives him.
Yes.
But man, is he just going to be toxic the whole way through?
Yeah. Look, well, first of all, let's go ahead and give a shout out to DJI Drones for ensuring that Herdman will probably be looking for a job very, very soon.
Well, and remember what we were talking about when we started the show this morning with what's going on with Dick Advocat and Curacao down in St. Lucia.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Look, come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a little creative here,
Mm-hmm.
At least Bielsa broke down his entire scouting process, and you got to see how clinically insane the man
in a
is.
PowerPoint presentation.
He used like PowerPoint and the old
Excel spreadsheets,
like overhead projector. That's what I'm talking about, man.
That was amazing. Where he basically told them, like, "Yeah, I cheated. Yeah, I spied on him. Here's what I found out. Here's why it doesn't matter."
Yeah. I did it, but I didn't need it.
This is stuff I already knew.
Yeah.
It's like I was a waste of time doing that. I had better things I could have done.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Absolutely. So,
God, Bielsa is incredible.
yeah. He do not
That's a
mess
lot.
with him. He'll come to the door with a grenade.
So from Italian football TV, really quick, because I know we're in overtime here,
That's all right.
extended hours.
Yeah, the fourth held up the banner, but we always play through it.
Yeah. So Italian football TV posted on their Instagram, Claudio Ranieri allegedly being told by Roma brass not to play Dybala. They were reluctant to play Dybala because there is a clause in his contract where it automatically renews after a certain number of appearances. Claudio said, and this again, the Freakins, they're slapping themselves by stepping on the rake.
Here's the rake.
Claudio Ranieri allegedly told Roma brass, "I told the president that I'm going to do whatever I want." The situation with Dybala, I told the president, "I'm going to do whatever I want." Is that clear? I don't want to know if he has a clause in his contract or not. And then he goes on to say, "One time a club president told me, if you play this player, you're going home. I told him, if you freeze this player out of the squad, then you as president, you should tell him yourself because you're the head of the club. If this player is still on the squad, I choose who plays." He replied to me that if you play him, I'm sending you home. What do you think I did? Did I play him or not? I played him and I got sent home. That is what I'm talking about, Claudio. That's the man is an institution, man. He's one of the last of the crazy Italian coaches. Let this man cook.
Yep.
Let him cook.
And no doubt about it. So also on the board this weekend, we got the semifinals in USL Championship. If you missed the interview that we had with Conno Smith, then you can catch that on the network, and you can keep an eye on all of that. So it is Rhode Island, and it is Rhode Island at Charleston, and it is also in the what is it in the West? I'm trying to figure it out in the West really quickly. Switchbacks are hosting. Who are the Switchbacks hosting? Oh, Vegas. So Switchbacks, Vegas, Charleston, and Rhode Island. That's your final four in USL Championship. FC Tulsa promoted Luke Spencer to the role of head coach. Tampa Bay has signed Leo Fernandez and Lewis Hilton to new deals. FC Tulsa has signed Johan Peñaranda to a multi-year extension to be the anchor in net. So championship game in USL League One Sunday afternoon, Warner Park in Papilla, Nebraska. The 7-seed Spokane Velocity taking on the number 1 seed Union Omaha, Los Bujos. It's great to catch up with Lagos Kunga early this morning, and also great to catch up with Bart Keeler from the Soccer for US POD. And they are on the Blue Butterfly, as a matter of fact, right now. Abe's going to join us on Monday. Bart's going to join us on Monday. Jess is going to join us on Monday. So you got semifinals in the NWSL this weekend, semifinals in USL championship game in USL League One, all the college conference action going on. You've got Division III at Emory. If you want to catch up with that and you want to watch some college soccer this weekend, you can do that over at Emory University. Clayton State has Division II at the Peach Belt this weekend, so keep an eye on that there. Go and widen your horizons. If you've got some time, go catch something that you haven't caught already this year. Go catch some small college soccer. Go catch some stuff that's out there in addition to the college football that's out there that we know is going to exist. And watch some of the lower division stuff too. It was really cool to catch up with Lagos this morning from the offices in Omaha and to see how things have gone for him this year. Gentlemen, it's always fun to do the SOT to wrap up a week. I think, honestly, this is probably what we should do to wrap up the week every week is just sit there and invite everybody in to just vent their spleens and get ready for the weekend, you know? I'm all for it.
Well, you still have the music.
Well, that's true. I do. We have the proper way to wrap up the week, as we always do here. So, Nick, final thoughts before we get out of here and play us out for yet another week.
To what John said earlier, look, there are plenty of other leagues out there. If you're not happy with the, your club and who owns your club, or if you're not happy with the fan base and how they react to certain things, look, there's a ton of options out there. Your local colleges, especially your D2, D3 kids, hey, look, they would adore you coming out and supporting them, where your voice would actually make a significant difference in the game day experience for them. So go and check that out. Typically, it's like it doesn't cost anything to get into these games. And I know if you have kids, the kids always have a great time. The players are typically very cool with all of that. So check it out. It's there for you. I promise it's here in Atlanta. I don't know about where, if you're outside of Atlanta, then I wish you the best of luck. But outside of that, don't follow the money, baby. Follow the game. Till next time, mucha Euro, y'all.
What he said, time to get us out the door for yet another Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Stacked Mondays. We get you ready for Atlanta and the Purple Team in Middle Florida. Not this weekend, but next. Enjoy it, everybody. And we are out for yet another week, which means that we get to play ourselves out of here, as I can sit here and go and figure out, where's my Friday drop? Where's my long Friday drop? It's right here. Here we go. Friday drop long. We'll see you later.
War was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail bodies were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress. The streets are ours. Be gone.